You are Locked On Marlins Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? What a win today. Welcome to your Locked On Marlins Postcast. 6-4, they beat the Mariners in Miami. We're going to take a look back, tell you how, tell you why, and just be excited with you on a nice, thrilling win. They go 4-2 on this mini little homestand. They win both series back-to-back. And how about the Marlins kind of turning it around? Every time they hit the skids, every time it seems like the train's coming off the tracks, every time it seems as though the season is falling completely apart. This team finds that inner resolve. This team finds the guts. This team finds the heart, the spirit, whatever you want to call it, inside of them. The mojo, baby, behave. That's what they get, right? And they win today 6-4. You're watching your Locked On Marlins Postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and we are pumped to have you here every single day. Thank you for making your Locked On Marlins Postcast appointment listening and viewing every single day. We're free, available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And tonight's episode of your Locked On Marlins Postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/MLB and use code all lowercase Locked On MLB for a first deposit match up to $100 with the Prize Picks, baby. And we got a busy show for you today. We might as well get right into it. Of course, you're going to Kansas City. No day off this week for the Marlins. Going to Kansas City right away. They're playing Monday, playing Thursday this week. Next day off is next Monday. So believe it or not, they had Thursday off, and then you're talking about a weekend series, and then you're talking, you know what I mean? So it's just been a while for this team, just playing every day. But the way that they're playing right now, you almost want them to keep playing the way that they are, and you want just to roll out there every single day and play again, because when you're hot, and you just want to keep it going, right? No doubt. And for the Marlins today, you know, it's a tough situation. Let's start here, because starter Braxton Garrett was scratched. He's scratched. He had a left forearm strain and a flexor tendon. So that will put him on the injured list for about 10 days, they're saying. Jesus Luzardo got thrown on there yesterday with the lower back lumbar issue, and that's going to be 4 to 6 weeks for him. And remember, Ryan Weathers, he's due to come off anytime with the finger. You know what I'm saying? You got Edward Cabrera on there, too. It's just been literally a venerable match unit of Marlins pitchers. You know how, you walk in the ER, and it, takes 9,000 hours to get seen by the doctor once you roll into the ER, right? You just never get seen. You see some dude with a fish hook coming out of his eye. He's not even getting seen, and you're like, man, this is going to be a long night. That's the Marlins rotation right now. You walk in the ER, every single person sitting there waiting forever to get seen by a doctor is a Marlins starter. You got Weathers in there. You got Cabrera in there. Sixto Sanchez was in there. Now you got Garrett joining Luzardo in there on back-to-back days. And it just is a mess for Miami. Just is a mess. You look at the pitching injuries up there on the thing. But, you know, when you have some pitching injuries and you have some things that you're not sure about, you rely on what you are sure about. And that today was some hitting for Miami. More on that in a minute, as Kyle Tyler got his first career start. Not just his first career start for Miami. His first career start went 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. They were earned. 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, threw 65 pitches, gave up a home run. And I'm going to tell you exactly how it's really cool how this game got set up and how it ended with Tanner Scott facing the best hitters in the Seattle lineup and what he was able to do to finish off this series, and how all these games have been so close lately. And the way that this game ended, it's just, it's like poetic justice. Put it in a song, So first of all, we're going to give you the rundown of how the runs scored in this game. Remember, and this is because of the injuries, you did not have, Miami was in a tough spot to start this game. And it's been lately trying to find starters. It's Kyle Tyler today. Yesterday it was, Sean Anderson with the long-haired mullet, Motley Crue. Yeah, girls. But you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where you've been trying to get anybody up from AAA to start. And today it was Kyle Tyler, who's not even a starter, but he did all right for himself. he did all right for himself in this game, and we'll explain how this one went down in just a minute. But, man, a lot of fun for the Marlins early. You know you got a spot starter coming up from AAA. What do? You know you got to score early, right? Well, Miller on the hill for Seattle, and he did not fare well at all. The Miami offense getting it going early, exploding early, and then having to hang on late. Here's the explode early part. How about Jazz Chisholm today having himself another multi-hit game at the top of the Marlins lineup? It hasn't been easy replacing the best hitter in baseball, Luis Ariz, since probably Tony Gwynn, but Jazz is doing all right there. Got the average up around 270. He doubles to right. Bell flies out to left. Chisholm goes to third. Not a lot of runners can go to third base on a fly out to left field. Jazz Chisholm is one of those guys. He ends up on third. See how they manufacture things here? De La Cruz, DLC, strikes out swinging. Unfortunately for him, he's been hitting it a little bit better lately. Sanchez draws the walk with 2 outs. So you're reading me here? You're reading me, partners? Chisholm doubles to right field. Goes to third on Bell's fly out. De La Cruz strikes out swinging. You're thinking, here we go again. Here we go again. We're out of our minds, out of our medicine, and we want in. Let us in. No. Here we go again. No, not so fast, my friends. 2 outs. The Marlins get it done this time. With 2 out, they came through in the clutch big time in the first inning, and it started with Jesus Sanchez, who actually homered later in the game. He drew a tough walk, and that was, something where he really made Miller work. He swung and missed at the first pitch, but you had the four-seamer, you had the splitter. This dude's at 94, 95 with the four-seamer, and then he's throwing a mid-80s with the splitter. And you work a 7-pitch at-bat there. Sanchez draws the walk. 7 pitches with 2 out. Huge, right? Because not only do you reach base, not only are you extending the inning and giving your team a chance to score, you got Jake Berger in the on-deck circle, and you got Nick Gordon in the hole. And they're watching this dude throw every pitch. They're timing him out. They're checking for every movement. This is what professional hitters do. They're looking at everything this guy does, talking about Miller for Seattle, and so it ends up paying off. Why? Jake Berger singles to left, ball barely got through. Chisholm scores. Sanchez goes to second. First and second, 2 away. Still, it's 1-0, right? Bam! The commissioner, Nick Gordon, with a 3-run jack, baby. 366 feet. Not a bomb by any stretch of the imagination, but it did not matter because it made it 4-zip Miami. By the time Otto Lopez, he'd factor into the outcome of this game too. Later on, grounds out the shortstop. 4 runs on 3 hits, no errors. And, oh, man, are you happy right now if you're the Miami Marlins to go out there and get those runs? But nobody happier than Kyle Tyler. Yeah, you want the runs for him. You want to score as many runs as you can for the kid coming up from AAA, making his first career start. So, yeah, they got it going, and they scored a bunch of runs for him early in this game. And that was going to be interesting. So here's the part, and here's where the game really turned. And it still was really close late. Twists and turns throughout a game. Look, you had the bases loaded with 2 out for the Mariners in the top of the 9th inning, and it's a 2-run game, and you have their best hitter at the plate. He hasn't been their best hitter right now, but their best hitter's at the plate, and we'll get to that in a minute. So every little thing counts. Every little thing counts along the way, right? Top second, Mariners trying to get something going. They get a couple of hits. Infield single for Canzone. Canzone had a game yesterday, with the 3 hits and a home run. Dominic Canzone leads off, gets on with an infield single. France grounds into a double play right there, and you're like, okay, Kyle, good job, kiddo. You got the double play there because Raley singles to center right after that, and Raley had himself a game. Luke Raley had a couple of hits today and a home run. And then you had Garver ground out to a fielder's choice. So the hits were sandwiched around the double play, which is why you get 2 hits, no runs in. Big shot in the arm for the Marlins. Even bigger is when, in the bottom of the second, they would add to their lead. Brujan singles to right, second consecutive inning. You get the leadoff guy on. Almost always going to lead to something good when you get the leadoff runner on base. Sanchez grounds out to the pitcher. Brujan goes to second. No chance for the double play there. That was huge. Bell flies out to center, but that was, hold on a second. Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, Brujan singles to right. Sanchez grounds out to the pitcher. Brujan to second. Okay, so then that Chisholm singles to right, and Brujan scores. That's what I was missing. So Jazz in the middle of it again. Singles to right field, scores Brujan, and it's 5-0 Miami. 1 run on 2 hits that inning. And you're looking at, in the first 2 innings of this game, the Marlins, what an unbelievable job they did. 4 runs on 3 hits in the first inning, 1 run on 2 hits in the second inning. So 5 runs, 5 hits in the first 2 innings for Miami. Off to a great start. They would score again in the third, 1 run on 1 hit, and that hit was a no-doubter, a 430-foot bomb off the bat of Jesus Sanchez. Made it 6-0 Miami. They spotted the Mariners 6, and believe me, they would need every bit of it, because in the top of the 4th inning, the Mariners started scratching, the Mariners started clawing, and they started to get to Kyle Tyler. Look, he's making his first career start, and I don't care who you are in Major League Baseball. It's very tough for any lineup of hitters when they've never seen a pitcher before, they don't have a ton of scouting reports on him, to face him right away and not know what's coming. Old school, baby. No scouting reports. Just go up there. You don't know what's coming. Just you play, we play, let's roll, right? So then the second time through, they start to get to know him a little bit. And you have Rodriguez grounding out to short. Canzone draws the walk. And then France flies out to right. But with Canzone on base, Raley homers to left. 380-foot shot, line drive. And Raley, like I said, he had 3 hits in the homer today. Drove in those 2 for Seattle. And it's 6-2 Miami. And it would stay that way for a while. And Miller settled down. Got the Marlins 1-2-3 in the 4th. Mariners top of the 5th. 1-2-3 for A.J. Puck, who pitched 2 scoreless innings in this game. Marlins bottom of the 5th. Do not score. Top of the 6th. Mariners go 1-2-3. Marlins bottom 6th with Thornton in. Berger, Gordon, Lopez, 1-2-3. Mariners in the top of the 7th. This is where they made the game really interesting. In the 7th and the 9th innings, they could have scored more runs, and it ended up being 6-4. But with Braziban on the mound for Miami, Raley with an infield single to third, and you hate those little infield choppers. You can't do anything with it. Garver walks. The walks always kill you. And this is Braziban on the mound. They had the thing with his glove in that inning where they went out and checked his glove. Did it have too much of one color in it? Maybe it got to him a little bit out there on the mound. I don't even know what happened. But Raleigh hits for Haniger. Raleigh grounds out to first. And then you have Garver to second and Raleigh to third, because they were unable to make any other play. So they get the play at first. You got runners on first and second. Runners on first and second. And you have your hottest hitter in your lineup up in Bliss. And what happens? Bliss grounds out to short. You sacrifice the run for the out. Now there's 2 outs. Crawford singles to center. Garver scores. And then with Nardi on the mound, you get Moore to strike out swinging. That was a huge strikeout. But those runs that came in there, you give up the run on the ground out from Bliss, and the way he's been swinging it, you'll take that right now. And then Crawford singles to center and Garver scores. But it's 6-4, and you don't allow the big inning. That could have really been busted open into a huge inning for the Mariners, and we're late for the break. We'll get to it in just a second. Bottom 7, the Marlins, you're looking at Brujan walks, and he gets sacrificed over to second by Sanchez, but then Chisholm strikes out, Bell walks, De La Cruz grounds to a fielder's choice. I thought for sure Chisholm was going to get a hit there. I thought for sure Jazz was going to come through in that spot, but unable to do it. Give Voth a lot of credit. Voth with the loss, although he didn't take the loss. I think I'm funny. Isn't that all that matters? The Mariners go quietly, 1-2-3 in the 8th. Marlins bottom of the 8th. Sanchez, Berger flies to right, and Gordon, 2 strikeouts for Bauman. In the 8th, it sets up the top of the 9th, and here comes Mr. Everyday Death, Taxes, and Tanner Scott dealing for the Marlins, right? Although he wasn't so sharp tonight. His fastball was all over the place, couldn't really locate it. Not all that much better with the slider, but he was able to adapt with the slider. That's how good he is, and use the slider as his primary go-to pitch when it's normally the fastball. So Tanner Scott in the 9th inning, Garver singles to right, Raleigh walks, Garver to second. So first and second, nobody out in a 6-4 game. Go-ahead run comes to the plate. And guess who it is? The hottest hitter in the lineup, of course. It's Bliss. You get him on a fly out to center field. Man, he's confident. He went up there hacking right away at the first pitch on Tanner Scott. Flies out to center. And then he gets Crawford to strike out swinging. So 2 away, you get Bliss, you get Crawford, you're feeling really good, but then you get Moore. Moore hits a bullet of a single to right field. Unfortunately for Seattle, fortunately for Miami, it was hit so hard that Garver could only go to third and Raleigh to second. So you got the bases loaded, you got 2 away, you got your best pitcher on the mound, you got the first place Mariners looking to pull this thing out and get a hit in that spot to go ahead in the top of the ninth inning. And what happens? Rodriguez comes up. He's 0 for 4 in the game. He's their best hitter, number 3 in the lineup. He scorches a bullet off Tanner Scott the opposite way toward right field. And all of a sudden, Otto Lopez, the second baseman, reaches up, does the Jordan jump man, and grabs it to end the game. What an exciting game. So I always tell you guys, day in, day out, only one team can win the World Series. Only so many teams can be in first place, make the playoffs, what have you. You get a run like 97 and 03 once in a blue moon if you're the luckiest fans on earth. But right now, what you're getting is a team that started off with 9 losses. They have 2 6-game losing streaks and a 5-game losing streak. And right now at 27 and 50, they're exciting to watch. They're fun. Day in and day out, man. It doesn't matter what their record is. You are going to be entertained. You are going to love watching this team play for 3 hours every day. It's not even 3 hours anymore with the rules changes. I'm so late for the break. Speaking of rules changes, I'm going to, oh, good Lord. Anyway, we got carried away. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Locked On Sports Miami YouTube. Also listening wherever you get your podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart. You might have heard of some of them. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. I'm also Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. I'm only Jem to people from the Midwest. Like if you're from Michigan or Chicago, for example, you might call me Jump, but I'm Jim to everybody else. It's break time. Let's keep it rolling. And you guys know, day in and day out, I get pumped to talk about my friends at FanDuel. I love sports. That's why I love them so much. I never, ever want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, they're playing Game 7 tomorrow night, the Panthers and Edmonton. We get fewer games, and the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head on over to FanDuel.com/lockedon and start making the most out of your summer right now. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Also want to tell you about my friends at Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. There's no doubt about that. We tell you about that every day here on the show, and I'll tell you what, Prize Picks is fantastic, man. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. That's right. Think about it. Unlike the other apps, it's just you against the numbers with Prize Picks. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today, and you will not be sorry. Prize Picks makes it a lot more fun. Getting some action on the action. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks got you covered every week. From lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. Look, with the finals over, the hoops action doesn't stop on Prize Picks. Women's basketball, Caitlin Clark, baby. Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves alongside the greats like Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson. You could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball so hard. Prize Picks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Oh, Georgia. So what are you waiting for? Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy when you are locked on with Prize Picks. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I want to thank you, of course, again for making Locked On Marlins postcast with me, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Locked On Sports Miami, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And of course, today's show in particular is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100 with Prize Picks. All right, and one more thing before let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Are you watching Fox Sports, ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume because you just can't handle the screaming and you just want a little bit of peace and quiet. You know what I mean? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Yo team, every single day as we roll along. Let's hit the box score real quick. We don't have any time to waste. Got to get airborne before it's too late. Ace is high, Iron Maiden. All right, Mariners. Hey, they also sang Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. You like the segues here? You can't pay for this stuff. It's unbelievable. All right, real quick with the Marlins. Great job getting it going early. Jazz Chisholm set the tone with the double to start the game. Came in on the commissioner's home run, Nick Gordon. Actually, he came in on Berger's single, and Berger came in on Gordon's home run. So Jazz Chisholm 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Good job at the top of the lineup for the Marlins today. Josh Bell 0 for 3 in the 2-hole. Also, he drew a walk, got on base, though. You have De La Cruz 1 for 4 in the 3-hole. Sanchez 1 for 3, 2 runs scored, and that solo home run for Jesus Sanchez. Hit a bomb earlier today. Berger 1 for 4 with the RBI single. Also struck out twice, as did Gordon, who hit the 3-run homer in the bottom of the first. He was 1 for 4. And Otto Lopez 0 for 3 had the game-saving catch, though, at the end. The leaping grab at second base. Brujan 1 for 2 with a run scored and a walk. And Sanchez, the catcher, 0 for 2. Remember, Bethancourt was designated for assignment by the Marlins earlier this week. The Mariners in the box. Crawford 1 for 4 with the ribby. Rojas 0 for 3. Rodriguez 0 for 5. Tough series for Rodriguez, their number 3 hitter. And Rojas, their number 2, was 0 for 3 today, so 0 for 8 combined for those guys. 1 for 3 for Canzone with a run scored. France 0 for 4, their first baseman, with a tough day. It was all about Rayleigh today. Luke using the force. Going 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs. Garver 1 for 2 with a run scored. 0 for 2 for Haniger. And Bliss goes 0 for 3. No Bliss today for him. He did have 1 RBI on the ground out, but just that ground out. And then later in the game with the fly out to center field with 2 on and nobody out, they were able to get him out in 2 crucial situations late in the game. With the Marlins bullpen getting the job done again, let's look at the Marlins pitching, shall we? Tyler comes up, first career start, 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. They were earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. A.J. Puck. How appropriate is it? Game 7 tomorrow night in South Florida. The Puck stops here. 2 innings, no runs, no hits, no nothing. 2/3 of an inning for Brazaban. Can't say the same for him. 1 hit, 2 runs. They were earned. For Nardi, he got the hold, as did Fauché. Nardi, 1/3 of an inning, 1 hit, no runs, struck out 1. Fauché, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts, no hits, no runs. Tanner Scott, 1 inning, 2 hits, got out of the jam of his life the way he's been pitching. Had a walk and a strikeout, too. 2 hits and a walk for Tanner Scott. They did not score against him. Miller for Seattle, 6 runs, all earned on 6 hits in 4 innings. Nobody else gave up a run. Saucedo, Thornton, Voth, and Bauman went an inning apiece. Only Saucedo gave up a hit. The rest of them just shut the Marlins down from the 3rd inning on. But it would not matter as the Marlins get the win 6-4. We'll be back to wrap it up right after these words. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast with me, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. 6-4, the Marlins win. They win 2 out of 3 from Seattle on the heels of winning the 2 out of 3 in their last series, and they are back on track. That's a fact. Jack. Just like you will be if you, as a skilled tradesman, start getting your supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. That means something, right? Pros in the skilled trades, you can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free TradeMaster program. Every TradeMaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Who wouldn't want that, right? So what are you waiting for? Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. There we go. Want to remind you one more time before we get on out of here that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. I want to hold it like a baby. I don't know why I'm doing this. Locked On Sports Today has me obviously very excited, but it's here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league, almost. Soon to come more. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Here we go. Here we go again. We're out of our medicine, out of our minds, and we want in yours. Let us in. All right, here we go. So 6-4 Marlins win today, and we will give you the particulars. We got Tyler making his first career start. Not bad for the young guy. 4 innings. 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned. But A.J. Puck, man, getting it done. 2 scoreless innings. Braxton got touched up, 2 earned runs. It was the home run that did him in. Obviously, you give up a long ball, that's going to not do such good things for your ERA. But Puck, Nardi, Fauché, and Scott. I don't know how Scott pitched his way out of that jam in the 9th with the 2 hits in the walk. He somehow gets it done. Great defensive play by Lopez, kind of saves the day there. But Scott gets the save, his 9th. A.J. Puck gets the win. He's 1-8. First win. Man, all I do is win, no matter what. Miller doesn't fare so well for Seattle. He gets the loss to fall to 6-6. And again, the stars of the day for the Marlins. Jazz Chisholm Jr., 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Nick Gordon, 3-run homer in the bottom of the first inning. And Jesus Sanchez with a solo shot later in the game. Let's see if they got the recap up here yet. Been a little bit slow this weekend on those. If we can get that recap up, we got it, and we will go through the recap here with you, and then we will get on out of here. Also take a look at what you have coming up. You've got the Royals in Kansas City, and then you go for a 4-gamer against Philly, so you got to do something in Kansas City. The Phillies are just killing everybody, man. You got Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola, and Suarez lined up for that series. And for the Marlins, the only pitcher listed is Roderick Munoz, who will actually pitch tomorrow against Kansas City. And that is because, in case you missed it, Braxton Garrett's on the DL with the forearm issue. Luzardo got put on the IL yesterday with the lower back issue. So Garrett's out probably about 10 days. Luzardo 4 to 6 weeks. You've already got Weathers on the IL. Could come back soon. Cabrera too, Edward Cabrera. And, yeah, it's just been just a veritable mash unit of pitchers for the Marlins. But before we hit all that, let's take a look at the recap and see if we missed anything as we recapped it for you. I like to do that. The recap comes out usually right about the end of the show. And here we are. Nick Gordon, Jesus Sanchez, homer to the Miami Marlins, beat the Seattle Mariners 6-4. On Sunday. It's close to a teleprompter. It's like a little bit lower. You see my eyes there. Jazz Chisholm Jr. had 2 hits and an RBI for the Marlins, who clinched the 3-game series against the AL West leading Mariners in their 2nd series win in a row. Ad-lib, see that there. A.J. Puck, 1-8, relieved Marlins starter Kyle Tyler to start the 5th and threw 2 perfect innings. Tyler allowed 2 runs and 3 hits over the first 4 frames. The Mariners got to within 6-4 on Ryan Bliss's RBI groundout off Huascar Brazoban, and J.P. Crawford's run-scoring single against Andrew Nardi in the 7th. There you have it. Marlins closer Tanner Scott allowed a leadoff single to Mitch Garver and walked Cal Raleigh in the 9th. Bliss flied out to medium center, and Crawford struck out before Dylan Moore singled to right and loaded the bases. Miami second baseman Otto Lopez leaped and caught Julio Rodriguez's line drive for the final out, and Scott's 9th save. He's their best player, I believe. The 27-year-old Tyler made his first major league start. I was waiting for that. They didn't get me there, and was selected from AAA Jacksonville after Braxton Garrett, Sunday's scheduled starter, went on the injured list because of a left forearm flexor strain, not a torn, a left forearm flexor strain. Tyler made one relief appearance with Miami on April 26th in an earlier call-up. Gordon's 3-run homer against Mariners starter Bryce Miller capped a 4-run first. Jake Berger put Miami on the board with an RBI single. Chisholm's run-scoring single in the second made it 5-zip. Sanchez connected off Miller, who's 6-6, with a solo blast in the third. Sanchez's 429-foot drive landed in the seats in right center field for his 7th homer. Seattle narrowed the gap on Luke Raley's 9th homer, a 2-run shot in the 4th. Miller gave up 6 runs on 6 hits while striking out 3 in 4 innings. Meanwhile, from the trainer's room, which is where all the news is coming lately, for the Marlins, Jesus Luzardo, the left-handed pitcher, is now transferred with his lumbar stress reaction. And Edward Cabrera, the righty, has also transferred with his right shoulder impingement to the 60-day injured list. So let me read that right. Miami has transferred left-handed pitcher Jesus Luzardo with a lumbar stress reaction and right-handed pitcher Edward Cabrera with a right shoulder impingement to the 60-day injured list. So 60 days for Luzardo. Okay, the trade deadline is about 30 days away. Little over 30, about 5 weeks. He's their best trade chip, man. They just lost a lot by having him out. These showcase starts leading up to the deadline for him, that could have got, every team in that competitive realm, like the Yankees and Phillies, Dodgers, they're so deep with their pitching staff, but injuries always happen, right? And the teams in that next level down, Orioles, for example, right? Teams like the one we just saw, the Mariners. There's a lot of teams who are looking for pitching, and Luzardo could fill that void. He's not a free agent until 2026, doesn't make a ton of money, going to eat some innings, could be a 3-starter or a 4-starter for an elite team, maybe a 2-starter for a competitive team, a contending team. And so that's a little bit of bad news there. Meanwhile, Sean Anderson, who started yesterday's game, short trip for him, cup of coffee, but at least it's Cafe Cubano before heading back to Jacksonville. Roddery Munoz will start tomorrow when the Marlins open up a 3-game series at Kansas City, some of the best food in the country. Cole Reagans will start for the Royals. That's all there is, Fish fans. There is no more. 6-4 Marlins win the series finale over the Seattle Mariners to take the series 2-1. Did I mention yet again that they are the first place Seattle Mariners? This team has played pretty good baseball against some very good teams this year. You got the Royals on the road and then a 4-gamer in the city of brotherly love in Philly. Cheesesteaks for everyone. But man, oh man, you got the Panthers with Game 7. Tomorrow night, South Florida, rise up. Get those rats ready. Panthers in 7. Great job by the Marlins today. They win at 6-4. As always, you'll see me in this smiling, lovely face of mine after every Marlins game with your Locked On Marlins postcast. Also, after Dolphins games. Also, after Hurricanes football games. Shout out to the U, class of 96, baby, right there. Everything's backwards that way, Jim. The camera's coming this way. Hey! Anyway, you get spoiled by the iPhones that do it right. So, anyway, where was I? After the Hurricanes football games and the Miami Heat basketball games when the NBA starts up again as well. Thank you so much for being here, Fish fans. Again, the Marlins win 6-4. Catch us wherever you get your podcast on the audio side, and keep coming back to the YouTube. Comment during the show. We will have some fun in the chat together. We'll talk to you tomorrow night in Kansas City. 6-4 Marlins beat the Mariners. This has been your Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Keep your game tight and your mind right, baby. I'm out.